Hello and welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Price a Job's project management modules for suppliers. To access the supplier's project management module, go to the navigation bar at the top of Price a Job and select Company. Then, in the left sidebar, under the project management tools, select Suppliers. We start by adding a new supplier by clicking the Add Supplier button in the top right. And we'll give our new supplier a name, in this case, Ace Hardware. And this opens a profile page for our new supplier. To start with, we can upload an image for our supplier for easy reference. In this case, we'll upload an Ace Hardware logo. Then we can choose a category for the supplier by selecting the drop-down arrow beside Category and choosing either Materials, Motor Expenses, Office Supplies, Other Expenses, Tools and Equipment, or Travel and Subsistence. In this case, this is a materials supplier. Here we can input our customer number and the supplier's address, our supplier's contact name, and contact information. Then we can choose an account type from the drop-down menu here, and here we can specify whether this is a credit account or cash. And in the case of a credit account, we can specify our credit limit. Then we have the option of adding any custom fields required by clicking the plus button here. There's a variety of custom fields we can add, including text fields, select boxes, check boxes, or date pickers. Let's start with a text box. And we'll give our text box a name. We'll call it Opening Hours. And save. And now we have a text field here where we can freeform type the opening hours of this business. So here we'll just put 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Next, let's take a look at another custom field. This time we'll choose from the drop-down menu a select box. And we'll give this select box a title. We'll call this one Preferred Payment. And then we'll click the Add New button here to give ourselves a variety of options. For each of the options, we'll label it with a title. We'll call this one Cash, call the next one Credit, and the next one Debit. And then we'll select one of these to act as our default value. So in this case, let's select Credit to be our default, and we can agree to that, and then save. And this adds a new preferred payment field with Credit automatically selected as a default. However, we also have a drop-down menu here that we can select and choose either cash or debit. Next, let's add another custom field. This time, we'll input a checkbox. And again, we'll give our checkbox field a title. We'll call this one Open Sundays. And save. And this adds a new field with a simple checkbox that we can either select or deselect. In this case, we'll leave it selected because Ace Hardware is open on Sundays. And we'll do one more custom field. And lastly, we will choose this style here, a date picker, and give our date picker field a name. We'll call this one Account Created, and save. And this creates a new field called Account Created. And when we click on this, we're given a calendar that we can select. And by double-clicking on the year here, we can select the year that our account was created, and the month, and then select the date from the calendar. Alternatively, we can just use the scroll arrows here to scroll through to find the specific date off the calendar and then choose it that way. And using these 4 styles of custom fields, we can add as many custom fields as we want. However, you'll notice that if we look at any of our other suppliers, that our custom fields did not carry over to these other suppliers. To change that, what we can do is use the Options button beside any of these custom fields to edit our custom field, and then we can use this Global button here to activate global settings and save. And now we've set opening hours to be a global setting, so if we check our other suppliers, we'll see that now this opening hours field has been carried over. So let's go back to Ace Hardware, and let's change all of these custom fields. We'll go to Edit, and set that to global settings as well. And Open Sundays, Edit, Global Settings, Save, and lastly, Account Created, Edit, Global Settings, Save. And we'll just check our other supplier here. And we can see that all of our custom fields have carried over. And finally, on the Profile tab, we have a Notes section here where we can just freeform type any specific notes that we want to record for this specific supplier. So for example, we might say, pick up from warehouse in rear. Next, for each of our suppliers, we have a tab called Payment Details. And here we can specify the supplier's bank name, account number, sort code, and tax number, followed by our custom fields which are imported under the global settings. Next, we can take a look at the Orders tab, And here we can document all of our orders with the supplier by clicking the Add Order button. And this opens our Reports tab where we can fill out our order. And here from the drop-down menu, we can select the supplier that's fulfilling this order. So in this case, Ace Hardware. And their info is automatically imported. Then we can set the status, whether this is delivered, on hold, delayed, canceled, or awaiting. We'll set this as an awaiting order. And we can customize our header to show the logo on the left, on the right, or centered. We'll just leave it on the left for now. We have a checkbox here that allows us to include or remove the custom notes field here at the bottom of the order. And then to add items, we just click the Add Item button here. And here we can input a description. We'll say 22-foot ladder. Set the quantity, 1. And specify the units, whether this is each or bag, coils, reels, rolls, etc. In this case, we'll just stick with each. If rather than adding the item manually, you prefer to import it, you can use the Import button here. And this will open PriceOfJob's list of required materials for the currently selected project. And we can either select all or specific materials from our required list of materials. So maybe we'll be ordering some concrete and plywood. And then we can import. And that imports these materials into our order as well, along with our required quantities and assigned units. If we need to remove any of these materials, we can click the trash bin on the side here to remove that material. And if there's other materials that we're looking for and we'd like to browse the PriceOfJob library, we can open the library button here, and this opens the complete PriceOfJob library of materials. And we can search this here from a library of thousands of materials and select the items that we need to add to our order. And then if we want to add any files to this folder, we can just click Add File. And this gives us the option to upload any files that are relevant to the order. When we're done, we can print this order, we can save it as a PDF, or email it directly within PriceOfJob. When we're done, we can click All Orders to see all the orders that we've placed with this supplier. And this will show us a table of all of our orders, including the date, the status, and the amount. If we'd like to see the details of this order, we can just click on this order, and it opens the order form that we completed in our Reports tab. We can also access any files that we attached here for reference. We can edit the order by clicking the pencil icon, or we can simply remove this order from our tab here by clicking the trash bin. And here's a confirmation. We'll keep this order in our tab for now. Next, let's take a look at the Documents tab. Here's an area where we can upload any related documents to the supplier. So here we can create a series of new folders. And let's call this folder Invoices, and save. And we can have as many folders here as we want. We can also upload any files related to the supplier. For example, this invoice. However, you can see that we've triggered an error with this invoice that says please choose proper symbols. And the reason for that is our invoice file includes a symbol in the file name. In this case, it's a number symbol. The PriceOfJob file manager only allows symbols including an underscore, a dash, or brackets. Any other symbols will trigger an error. So once we remove the number symbol, we can save this file. And this adds the invoice to our Documents Manager. To add this invoice to our Invoices folder, we can just simply drag and drop it. And notice when we do so that the Invoices folder turns into a solid color to show that there's contents in the folder now. It's no longer an empty folder. When we have several folders, and files, PriceOfJob gives us an easy way of managing them. Using this drop-down arrow here, we can either select all by clicking the checkbox to select all files and folders, or we can drop down and select none, or we can choose only the folders, or only the files. And when we have many files and folders, this makes management of our documents much easier. You can create as many folders as you want and upload as many documents as you want, up to a limit of 2 gigabytes. And your data usage is indicated here in the top right corner. In this case, we've only used 1.1 megabytes out of a 2 gigabyte limit. You'll notice that here this shows us our home icon. We're here on the home page of our file manager. If we were to enter any of these folders, this expands to a breadcrumb trail similar to what you might find on a Windows or Mac system. And this just helps you to navigate your way through your various folders and subfolders, because we can create even more folders within this same folder. For example, within the Invoices folder, we might have one for paid invoices. And now when we enter that, our breadcrumb trail expands to show us exactly where we are within our navigation tree. To move various files around, we can either drag and drop or right-click on these, and we have a variety of other options. We can rename this file. We can click Get Share Link, and this creates a URL that we can copy to our clipboard using this icon here, and then share this with our suppliers, clients, or contractors, or anyone with the link. We'll be able to download this PDF file directly from the Price of Job server. From the drop-down menu, we can also copy this file, cut it, delete it, download it, or mail it directly from within the Price of Job system. And this gets mailed over the Price of Job servers. Let's go back to our Company tab, back to our Suppliers module, and we'll notice that we also have the option to view these various files and folders in either Table View, which shows us the date of creation, the size of the files, and the type, or Grid View, that shows us the size of the file in the top right corner of each icon. Another way to select multiple items is to hold down your Control button or Command on a Mac, and that will allow you to select multiple items. Then by right-clicking, you can copy, cut, delete, download, or mail. When downloading multiple items, they'll be compressed into a single zip file. And then we have a Notes tab here. And here's an area where we can add specific notes for this supplier and assign the date. So if we click the date field, it opens the date calendar here that we can select. And then add a description for this specific note. So for example, we might say credit account increased to $20,000. And it's automatically marked with today's date unless we specifically choose a different date from the calendar. And this is just a handy area to store records of our dealings with this specific supplier. And then you can add more suppliers as well by clicking the Add Supplier and creating more profiles for each of those as well. Once you have many suppliers, you can search through them by clicking Search by Suppliers. In this example, we might type ACE, and it filters our table just down to matching results. Beside each of our suppliers, you'll notice 3 dots indicating an options menu. And this is where we can delete the supplier from our records, including their entire profile. So if you use this, be sure to pay attention to the confirmation. In this case, we'll cancel because we do want to keep this supplier. And this is a convenient way to make sure that all of your supplier information is handy to you no matter where you have access to the Price of Job system, either from your office desktop computer or your mobile device on site or anywhere you are. And that's how to use Price of Job's project management module for suppliers. Thank you for using Price of Job.